All right, so first thing you're gonna do on the pre-trip is you got to do your external lights. There will be a tester standing outside the truck. You need to get in here and turn the key to the right position, and the tester will give you signals. All right, so let's say he gives me the right blinker. I turn my right blinker on. He gives me the left blinker, turn my left blinker on. Here's my 4 ways. All right, then he's gonna say turn the lights on, turn my lights on, and then high beam. All I gotta do is pull that back. The tester will then walk all the way around the truck and they'll get in the passenger seat. When they get in, you need to go ahead and turn the lights back off. Turn all the lights back off, turn the key to the off position. The tester is going to tell you, okay, go ahead and do your brake test. All right, so you're going to say, first thing I'm going to do, safe start, splitters down, clutch to the floor, turn my key on. I see my ABS light, my DEF light, they both came on. I'm waiting for them to go off. All right, they both went off, so they're working. I'll go ahead and start the engine. All right, from here, I'm gonna build my air pressure from 100 to 120 PSI. All right, while it's building air pressure, I have to tell you about the air governor. The air governor should cut off 120 to 140. All right, now that my air pressure is built, I'm gonna do my tug roll. All right, I'm gonna put it in a low gear. All right, I'll pull against my trailer first. All right, my trailer held. I'm gonna pull against my tractor now. All right, my tractor held. I'm gonna push them both in. I'm gonna roll forward and do my service brake test. Roll forward, push the clutch to the floor, hit the service brake. All right, now I'm gonna reach down here and turn the engine off. Keep my hand on the key, and I'm gonna turn the key all the way back to the right. All right, now I'm gonna do my 1, 2, 3. The 1 is the leakage test. I'll place my foot on the service brake, hold for 1 minute, and I shouldn't lose more than 4 PSI. 1,000, 2, 1,000. Now the instructor or the tester will say you're good. If they don't say you're good, you got to count all the way 60. Now I'll do the 2. The 2 is the warning light buzzer test. I'll fan my brakes down when I get to 60 PSI. Should have a warning light buzzer come on. I'm gonna fan. All right, there's my warning light and buzzer. Now I'll do the 3. The 3 is my spring brake test. I'll fan my brakes down. When the pressure gets between 20 and 45 PSI, both these spring brake valves should pop out. I'm watching both of them, making sure they both pop out. All right, they both popped out. Now from here, I'm done with my brake test. I can go ahead and start my in-cab inspection. So I'll start with a safe start. It's in neutral, clutch to the floor, start it back up. All right, now from here, you can do this any way you want to, but get you a routine where you're doing it the same way every time. I like to start with my mirrors. They're securely mounted, clean and free of debris, no cracks obstructing my view. They're adjusted for me. I'll do my windshield. The windshield, there's no cracks. It's clean and free of debris, no illegal stickers obstructing my view. All right, then I like to go to the dash. All right. So I'm going to turn my right blinker on until my right indicator bulb is working. My left indicator bulb is working. Turn my flashers on. My 4-way indicator bulb is working. All right, and I'm going to leave all this on because it's got to be on when I get out of the truck. All right, so I'm going to turn my lights on, do my high beam. My high beam indicator bulb is working. All right, move down to city horn. It works. Air horn. It works. Back up to my windshield. I'm talking about my wipers. My wipers are flush against the windshield. They're not dry rotted or cracked, and they move back and forth. I'm turning them on with this little knob over here. I'm also going to push it in and make sure I have washer fluid. I do have washer fluid. All right, from there, I'm moving down. I come to my heater. I'm going to turn my heater on. I'm going to put it on face and foot, and I'm going to check both areas. I'm going to say the heater's working. The heater's working. All right, then I'll put on defrost. And my defroster is working. All right. The next thing I have is my safety equipment. I have to tell the tester I have 3 highly reflective triangles somewhere in this truck. I have spare fuses or circuit breakers, whichever the truck takes. They're right here in the glove box. And then I have a fire extinguisher by my left foot over here. It's securely mounted, properly charged to 10 BC. And that's the end. So when you get done with the end cab, the next thing you're going to do is the front of the vehicle. So on the front of the vehicle, I start up there at the top. Those are clearance lights or running lights. All You have 5 of them, amber in color, securely mounted, not cracked or broke. No condensation on the lens, which could indicate a leak. I'll move down and I have this hood mirror right here. It's securely mounted. It's not cracked or broke. It's adjusted for me, clean and free of debris. Now on my lights, I just stand on one side, but I talk about both sides. So here I have a reflector. It's amber in color, securely mounted, not cracked or broke. That's both sides. I'll also have a high beam and low beam, and a high beam and low beam on that side, clear in color, securely mounted, not cracked or broke, no condensation on the lens, which could indicate that they're leaking. All right, here I have a right and a left turn signal. I also have my 4-way flashers, amber in color, securely mounted, not cracked or broke, no condensation on the lenses. All right, and that's all my lights. You have to say all of them lights to get to all the points. Now underneath down here, I'm gonna look underneath the truck and I'm gonna make sure that there's no fluids leaking on the ground. There's no oil, there's no coolant, there's no power steering, there's no hydraulic fluid, no fluids. Right. After the front of the truck, I'll pop the hood and I'll come around here to the passenger side. Now, there's only one thing on the passenger side. It's this coolant reservoir right here. All right, it's securely mounted. All the mounting bolts are in place and tight. The fluid level is between the minimum and the maximum. The lid's on tight. It's not leaking around the lid. All the hoses coming to and from the coolant reservoir, they're not dry rotted, cracked, they're not leaking any fluids, and they're securely mounted with hose clamps. And that's it for after the passenger side. You'll come over here to the driver's side. I start right here. This is my power steering reservoir. It's securely mounted. The mounting bolts are in place and tight. The reservoir is not bent, cracked, or leaking any fluids. The lid's on tight. The fluid level is between the minimum and the maximum, and all the hoses coming to and from the reservoir, they're not dry rotted, cracked, or leaking any fluids. All right, and then I'll move back here. I have my oil fill and my oil check. This is where I check my oil. If I needed to add oil, I could add it here. They're both securely mounted. The lids are on tight. I don't see any leaks. So that is my oil. Then I'll move right here on the firewall. I have all these air hoses right here. They're securely mounted. They're not dry rotted or cracked. I don't hear any audible sounds that can indicate that they're leaking. Also, this is kind of new. Some trucks have it, some don't. But this is hydraulic fluid right here. This is for your clutch. This is the reservoir, securely mounted, lids on tight, not cracked or broke, and it has the proper fluid level in it. All right, moving from there, I'm gonna go into my steering system. This is my steering column or steering shaft. It's not bent, warped, twisted, or cracked. It's securely mounted at the bottom and top by U-joints. There's no shiny spots on the U-joints, which could indicate that it's wearing out. All right, it leads down to my gearbox. My gearbox is securely mounted by these bolts. All right, all the bolts and nuts are tight. The gearbox is not bent, warped, twisted. It's not leaking. All the hoses coming to and from are not dry rotted or leaking. All right, the next 3 things I do in order. I'll just tell you. I'll tell you each one, and I'll go back and talk about it. This is my pitman arm. This is my drag link, and this is my steering knuckle back here. Now, none of them's bent, warped, or twisted. They're all held together by bolts, nuts, castle nuts, and cotter pins. Now, right behind the steering knuckle, I have my tie rod. The tie rod is securely mounted with castle nuts, cotter pins, bolts, and nuts. It's not bent, warped, twisted, or cracked. From there, I'll go to my suspension. I have my leaf spring mount in the front. I have a leaf spring mount in the rear. They're securely mounted to the frame of the truck by bolts and nuts. They're secured and tight. They're not bent, warped, or twisted. Then I have my springs. The springs are one over the top of each other. They're not scissored, no cracks, no rust, not bent, warped, twisted. Then I have my shock. My shock is securely mounted at the top to the frame of the truck, at the bottom to the axle. All the mounting bolts are secured and tight. The shock's not bent, warped, or twisted. It's not leaking between the upper and lower half. Now, my brake hose right here. It's not dry rotted, it's not cracked. I don't hear any audible sounds that could indicate that it's leaking, and it's securely mounted. I also look inside down here and I don't see any brake contaminants on my brake pads or my drum. Then I'm going to do my inner wheel and tire. So my rim, my inner rim, and my outer rim is not bent, warped, twisted, cracked. No illegal welds on it. My tires. We use ICD for tire. That's inflation, condition, and depth. This tire is inflated to the manufacturer's specification found on the side of the tire. The condition of this tire. Up here on the front, I have to wear. I cannot run recaps. There's no patches, bulges, cuts, rips, or tears in the tire anywhere on the sidewall. The tread's worn evenly, so that pretty much covers my condition. Now the depth, I've got to have at least 4/32 in each major groove right here. Now out here I have my lug nuts. All my lug nuts are in place and tight. There's 10 of them. There's no rust trails. There's no shiny spots that can indicate looseness. All right, and that's the driver's side. So we're going to do down the driver's side now. All right, I have my mirror up here. I have to do it on the inside and outside. So it's securely mounted to the side of the door. All the mounting bolts are in place and tight. The mirror's clean and free of debris, not cracked. It's adjusted for me. All right, move down here. I have a multifunctional light. It's a left turn signal. It's a 4-way flasher. It's a running light. Amber in color, securely mounted, not cracked or broke, no condensation on the lens. All right, right here, I have my battery box. All right, so my battery box is securely mounted to the frame of the truck. All the mounting bolts are in place and tight. All right, then I'm gonna look at my batteries. There's no corrosion on the batteries. All the connections are tight, no naked or frayed wires, which could cause a short to ground or a dead short. All right, then I'm gonna move right here. I have my DEF tank. It's securely mounted to the frame of the truck. All the mounting bolts are in place and tight. The tank itself, it doesn't have any leaks or holes. The lid's on tight, it's not leaking there. And I could look underneath and it's not leaking there either. Moving back here, I have my fuel tank. My fuel tank is securely mounted to the frame of the truck by 2 metal bands. I will look to the left or the right of the metal bands. If there's shiny spots, that means it's loose and it's moving. But I don't see that, so it's securely mounted. It's not leaking around the lid. The lid's on tight. And underneath, I don't see any fluid on the ground, so it's not leaking there. Move back to the center here. Now I'll do my electrical connection. It's right here. It's securely mounted to the tractor. This little flap holds it in place. I will check this line. There's no frays or cuts or naked wires. It's not dragging the catwalk, and it's securely connected right here to the trailer. You have to talk about connected at the trailer and the truck to get the point. Same with your airlines. My airlines have been factory mounted right here to the tractor. They're securely mounted. There's no hose in my airlines, no dry rot. The airlines are not dragging the catwalk. And my airlines are securely connected to the trailer via these glad hands. All right, they're in the locked position. I don't hear any audible sounds which could indicate that they're leaving. All right, one thing that I got to talk about too is my frame right here. From this position, I can see my frame all the way to the front and all the way to the back. All right, the frame's not bent, warped, twisted, or cracked, and there's no illegal welds. All right. Then I can turn, I can check this front part of my trailer. That's the bulkhead. There's no holes in it. All the rivets are in place. No cracks, bends, warps, twists. And I can look up at the top. Those are clearance lights, amber in color, securely mounted, not cracked or broke. All right, let's stop. All right, next we have the fifth wheel, all right, or the coupling system. I start at the top right here. This is my apron, trailer apron. It's securely mounted. It's been factory welded to the bottom of the trailer. The welds are not cracked. The apron's not bent or twisted. All right, properly greased. There's no gap between the apron and the fifth wheel skid plate. All right, the skid plate is securely mounted by this pivot pin and this safety bolt. They're in place, they're secure and tight. The fifth wheel's not bent, warped, or twisted. My locking lever is pushed into the locked position, and the safety latch is locked around the lever. Inside here, I have 2 locking pins that hold this fifth wheel skid plate in place and keep it from moving. They're in the locked position. This is my platform. The platform's securely mounted to the frame of the truck by all these mounting bolts. They're in place and they're tight. There's 2 more things on the coupling system. I have my kingpin up there. It's not bent, warped, or twisted. All right, and I have my locking jaws. My locking jaws are locked around the shank of the kingpin. All right, moving down here. All right, I have multifunctional lights. All right, they're red in color. I have a left turn, a right turn, a 4-way flasher. I have a brake light, tail light, a reverse light. There's no tag light here, but they're securely mounted, not cracked or broke, no condensation on the lens. All right, let's get this trailer right here. Right here I have my landing gear. My landing gear has been factory welded to the cross members of the trailer. There's no, the welds don't have any cracks in them. It's not bent, warped, or twisted. The legs are rolled all the way up. The handle's in the stowed position. All right, and I have the proper amount of clearance between my landing gear and my driver's drive tires so that they won't get into each other when I turn. All right, side of the trailer. This is DOT reflective tape. It's highly visible. It's not peeling away. Securely mounted to the side of the trailer. Here I have a multifunctional light. It's a left turn. It's a four-way flasher. It's a running light. It's amber in color, securely mounted, not cracked or broke, no condensation on the lens. All right. Here I have a running light, red in color, securely mounted, not cracked or broke, no condensation on the lens. All right, for the rear of the trailer, all I got to do is the lenses and the reflectors. All right, so right here, I have DOT tape. It's highly visible. It's not peeling away. It's not tearing up or anything like that. It can be seen from a long ways away. All right, I have several lights back here. I have these 2 lights on the left, 2 lights on the right. They're multifunctional lights. They're a brake light, tail light, left turn, right turn, four-way. They're red in color, securely mounted, not cracked or broke. Here I have clearance lights, red in color, securely mounted, not cracked or broke, no condensation on the lenses. That's it.